ఇంట్రడక్షన్ అండి ఇవన్నీ కూడా.
Uh, Hello everyone. Good morning. Good evening to all. We'll wait for another 2 minutes, guys. After that, we'll get started. So, yes, anybody wants to ask anything, you can go ahead, please. I can see Irfan. Uh,
So because are we starting the JavaScript from today?
yes, hand in hand, along with Playwright.
Along with Playwright. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like, just to give you this thing context, guys, what we have uh, discussed, like, or let's say what we have covered so far. Okay, I'll be quickly giving you an overview. Okay, I will be sharing my screen, guys, and please acknowledge if you guys can hear. Sorry, if you can see my screen. So in the like last discussion what we had, right, like yesterday, correct, we spoke about the installation part, we spoke about the prerequisite. We spoke about like what are the commands which are kind of showing up whenever we install or we do the setup. Okay. And after that, I have just ran one simple test case which has been generated by Playwright itself. So we have not created any, let's say, file, any code till now. Okay. So whatever we have done is like the when we have done the installation, right? This particular section or this particular file got created. One is this one, and second is the demo to do app.spec.js. Okay. So this is the like I mean only this part is being covered. After that, we have spoken about the folder structure and how this folder structure is working, and what are the various let's say changes which we are going to do in the coming sessions. Okay, that we will discuss in detail. Okay, perfect. So now moving on over here in this particular section, as I mentioned you guys that I will be creating one file over here. Okay, and that file would be something like readme.md for me. Okay, so that everybody can refer that whenever you guys are, let's say, referring the code or something. Okay, so what I will do, I will just create one more file over here. Okay, so you guys will face issue whenever you want to create file at this level, guys. You will not be able to create. Okay, so please go to that particular respective folder structure where you want to create, and just click new file, this option, and after that just keep the name. So today I am just talking about one basic concept, and after that I'll move to again Playwright actually. Okay, so over here in JS, that is in JavaScript, guys. Those who are already aware, fine. Those who are not, like when it comes to the concept of variables, guys. Okay, so in JavaScript we are having only three types of variables. Okay, so the first one is const, or I would say let, where, and const. We don't have several variables like we have in our Selenium language, or let's say other programming language, guys. Okay, we JavaScript support only three variables like logic, and with this three variables only you need to kind of play around with like in your script. Okay, so obviously whenever we will use in our real time, correct, we need to make sure that all these variables are initialized. All these variables are like, let's say, if there is any reassignment, we are able to reassign. Okay, so the major difference I would say in between these variables is like the respective to function scope and block scope. That's it. Okay, so whenever we will use in our test case or in our scenarios, right? So we let has got the functions block scope, whereas let has got the function scope. Okay, so what does this block scope means basically? If you have a variable within a pair of curly bracket, right, it will have the life only this particular section. Okay, but when it comes to where, right, where has got the function logic, right? If you declare anything inside the function, right, then this particular variable has got the life for that complete functions. Okay, and the last one is const. Const has the logic like once you have declared it, right, you will not be able to reassign it, so we will not be able to change it. Okay, so now how to use this in our JS code or in our Playwright, right? I'll be kind of showing that as well. For that, what we will do is we will first go with one folder, the one which we have created yesterday. And inside this, I have created one file, guys, variable.js. Okay. So whenever we are creating any variables, guys, okay. So let's say where, okay. So as soon as you write where, you will get the auto suggestion. Okay. where a is equal to 100. So as soon as you write this statement and you hover your mouse on a, so you will see a is a number. Okay, and if you make this as a string, sorry, my bad, if you make this a as, let's say, hello world, but the condition is you need to pass this in the double quotes or single quotes whenever you are working with string or something. So hover your mouse, it will show us as a string. If you make this where b is equal to boolean, sorry, true or false, right? Hover your mouse, it will show the boolean value. So there is no requirement of boolean or let's say integer, float, all those data types what we have in Java, guys. Okay, by Java itself, through the logic of Node.js, it will identify the respective variable types. Okay, so now when I say the variable, that is where it's got the scope of functions, right? So please understand this. Whenever we create any variable, and if you try to use it, okay, but that logic will be within the function block. Okay, so over here we have created two variables, guys. Okay, so now if I write console.log, okay, so console.log is basically for logging purpose, and I'm saying c, guys. Okay, so if you notice, we don't have the variable c, and still I'm saying that, hey, please log the value of c. Okay, so we will obviously get an error, correct, because the variable c is not available, and how come you are trying to log that value? Okay, next is console.log, and you're writing b. Okay, so we have just created one simple this thing logic, wherein if we need to run this particular file, guys, just copy the path, okay, and just write node control v. Okay, so node is the, you can say, through which you are running your JS code. Okay, and just provide the path, guys. Okay, once you do that, after that, over here you got the error saying that c is not defined, guys. Okay, so now over here I have not spoken about what is function scope or what is block scope, guys, till now. Okay, I have just shown you like variable declaration, and you are kind of printing in the output console. Okay, so now when I run this, correct, you are able to see that we are able to get the respective output. Okay, so when I say function scope, guys, here I am showing you how to create function also, guys. Okay, so create a function now. How to create functions? Any programming language. I'm not so talking about JS, guys. In any programming language, you just need to use a keyword called as function. Okay, and just give the name of the functions. Okay, demo test. So this is the function name, and after that a pair of round bracket. So once you do that, you have successfully created a function. Now whatever logic you want to write, correct, you will be able to have it inside this. Okay, now what does this scope, function scope, means basically? Okay, where x is equal to 100. Okay, and here I'm saying that one more logic I'm trying to explain, guys, over here. So all the conditional statement, guys, whatever you are aware about, even if you are not aware about, I'll go with basics, guys. And at any point, guys, if anybody has any doubts, query, I mean, please feel free to unmute and speak up, guys. Okay, so here I'm writing if true. Okay, inside this function I am having one conditional statement. If true, I will say console.log and just print x. Everyone understood this? So I'm not writing else. I know that every time it will be obviously true. Why I am showing this explanation? Because here you can see we are having a pair of curly bracket, which is nothing but a block. Okay, now if I want to execute this, anybody has idea what should I do? If I want to execute this code,
I will call the
We
function.
have to call that function.
call the function, right? So for calling function, just kind of use this. Okay, after that we will be able to see the value of x, guys. Okay, so just hit this, you are able to see that we got 100 as an output, which is nothing but the value of x. So now console.log x is showing, correct? Now if I write console.log x over here, obviously it will work, guys. Okay, there will be no issue in this. Okay, till now there is no issue. This is called as the function, like you are trying to have the variable somewhere at the function level only. Okay, if you want to kind of change the value, right? Over here I have made this to 10. Okay, now I'm writing one more time console.log. Okay, and now if I'm let's say running it again, I will be able to have it this value, guys. But you have declared the value of x and you are trying to, let's say, use console.log x before starting functions or anywhere, right? Now let me explain you what does this it will have it. So x is not defined, guys. Okay, so once the definition is done, only then we will be able to move to the next step, guys. Please remember this. Okay, so now one more thing over here where I will just copy this whole thing. Okay,
Sorry, Vikas, why did you get x is not defined in this case?
we got the error, right? Because we have this line at the top of this, so over here, correct, before your function logic is written. Now let me copy this. Let me copy this and move at the, like, before let's say, because what happens, what in JS, the program code will execute from the function logic, guys. Okay, so now over here, if you notice, we will get again one more this thing error. We got through. Why? Because this line got executed. After that, it is looking for this function. Control went to demo test, and here our logic got failed, right? That's the reason demo test didn't got executed. Now I am control X over here and putting it over here. I'm saving it, and now I'm running it one more time, guys. Okay. Again, I'm getting same issue because the like the scope of this particular variable is within this function, guys. Okay, clear everyone? Okay, moving on to the next part, copying this. Okay, I'm adding one more logic. Let me make this as let. Okay, demo test for let. I have just changed the function name, guys. Okay, demo test this. So guys, if you notice, I have used the variable name x, but the life of this variable is within this block, right? So you can kind of use this variable value or name, reference name, right? What you are looking at, you can use that variable name again, guys. There is no issue in JS. Okay, even in Java also we don't have any issue. The life of that particular this thing will be within that block. Okay, now over here what I want to explain is let y is equal to 20. Okay, and now if I write console.log and over here, let's say I'll write y. Okay, you need to understand this. Okay, so now guys, don't get confused because there will be two method, or else if you want I can comment out this. Okay, save this. I'm running the same file. So over here you can see that y is not defined. Okay, because the logic of y is within this block. That's it. If you are moving outside this thing, right, you will not be able to get that value, guys. Am I clear, everyone?
Because what is the difference between let and where?
Yeah,
Where
that's
is
what.
variable and let is?
No, both are the logic for defining your data type only. Let has got the concept of block scope. Okay, and where has got the concept of function scope. So when I say
And
function scope, you have defined it over here where, right, in the previous example, you can use anywhere. There is no such restriction, but within this block. Okay, but when you declare let and you have declared within block, let's say you have declared this let and you have used within sorry, you have to use mandatory within this block only. If you try to write console.log y over here, we should get an error. Okay, that's the property of where, sorry, let. Everyone are clear, guys? Any doubt, any query? So if I remove this statement, if I comment this statement, okay, now you will see that it will okay. So anybody can explain me what is the issue, guys? Yes.
Can you
So the
scroll a bit up?
you cannot
Line
declare
number.
out it is in the let.
So it is on which
It
line number?
is
Line number 55.
55. So you are
Except
trying to use something which is out of the function, which is something out of the block as well, right? So you need to mandatory remove this line, guys. Okay. Everyone are clear, guys? Any doubt, any query, any questions on let and where? That's the only two variables which we have in JS, guys. There is no such other variables. Okay. Perfect. So I hope everyone are clear. And the last one is const, guys, which is nothing but whenever you declare any const variable, there will be no feasibility to update that. We will not be able to update. Simple. Okay. So you cannot redeclare if you have declared const variable within that block, and if you are trying to have it one more time, if it is in same function, it will not allow. Okay. So let me give you an example. You have declared const over here, const m is equal to 20. And now if you are saying over here again, let's say m is equal to 55, right? It will not allow, guys. Please understand this. So const means the variable which you have declared, right? It will remain constant throughout your framework. Okay. And the scope of const variable is within the function. That's it. Understood, everyone? Perfect. Moving ahead, guys, let me move to JS part. Okay, so I have shown you this particular code in the yesterday's discussion. So what we will do is we will create one file, guys, today, tc01. I will have every time suffix as tc01. Okay, so I'm just writing tc01 first test dot spec dot js mandatory. Okay, so the very first thing, if you notice over here, we got some value already, right? So if you notice the first statement, what we have is this value, right? So if we need to write in some other syntax, we can do that. If you want, you can have this value from here. Okay, but what is this? Can anybody explain me? What is this test and what is this expect?
These are inbuilt function?
Yeah, those are inbuilt function. Whenever we install Playwright, right, it will come by default every time, like obviously through which you will start your writing like test case writing. But yeah, like at high level, what is test and what is expect? Expect, by the word itself, you might have understood what will expect do, right? Expect is something related to which we do always, right? Like in terms of coding, I'm talking.
So
Um,
you're importing the test from the Playwright for the test execution.
Correct. So when we say test, guys, it is more of similar to how we have, let's say, test case, right? So if you hover your mouse in Java, we write import java.util. Right? So we need all the, let's say, functionality which is present in this particular package. Correct? That's what we do. So all the methods, all the, let's say, respective variables, whatever will be present in test, right? We will be able to use in this particular code. Okay, and expect is something which is related with the JavaScript assertion part, guys. Okay, so when I say assertions, basically it's a checkpoint, right, which we always do in our like testing. So once you have moved to any website, let's say you have navigated to the page, you have entered the detail, whatever you do, right, after that it is mandatory that you apply the respective assertion. Okay, unless and until if you don't apply this assertion, right, your coding or let's say whatever you are doing is of, let's say, no this thing. correct? Perfect. So these are the things which are coming from the Playwright/test case. So now where is this Playwright test present? Inside the node module section. Okay. Inside this part, we are having this Playwright test case. Okay. Everyone can see, right? @Playwright/test. That's what we have written over here. So now once we have imported it, right, we can use it for creations of test case. So how to create test? Okay. So just write test. Okay. After that, anyone, what should we do? You need to provide the description. What is this test about? Okay. Validate the title of the page. So this description is user specific, guys. It's on you how you want to like have it. Okay, it's totally on you. After that, we are saying that we need to have body, guys. So whenever you write, guys, you see that we are having the suggestion over here. Okay, everybody. So if you want, you can just check the detail as well, and you can go to the specific page as well, like where this like test we are using, right? So here is the detailed explanation of how to use test, and you can refer this, and based on that you will have, let's say, idea like what this test is doing. So I have written this particular content. Okay, now this content will be visible in my Playwright report or in the CLI part, in the Jenkins part, wherever I will run my file. Okay. After that, you need to give the knowledge to Playwright test that, hey, I will be running in the asynchronous mode. Okay. Why this async is required, guys? I'll explain you. After that, you need to pass the page file. So basically, this is nothing but you can consider, let's say, reference variable. So if you hover your mouse on this, you saw that here we have page every time. So what does this do basically? In Cypress we have cy dot. So in Playwright we will have always page dot. Okay. If you don't want to pass this page, then we need to write the logic to create the context page inside this particular function. So to avoid that, what we are doing is we are passing this page variable over here. Okay. Now, whatever be the web page over the UI, we will always open with the help of await logic. Okay. So if you notice, after this, we need to kind of pass the callback function. We call this as callback function, guys. Okay. So this is the, you can say, style or syntax of writing any Playwright test. Okay, whoever is doing from scratch, every time we need to have the Playwright test case needs to be written in this. And the question is why we are writing async and why we are writing await, like two commands we always like have it in all the steps, guys. Okay, if you have 100 steps in your test case, for every steps you will have await keyword before the actual command. Okay, so await and async command are basically responsible for performing the or handling the asynchronous behavior, because what happens is we will be having the synchronous. If you don't write await, right, JS will be confused, Playwright will be confused which statement I need to execute first. Okay, so to avoid that those issues, okay, I'll show you by removing async also what issue we will get. Okay, and what are the reason why we are writing the await command in Playwright. Okay, so whenever you have this logic like await, right, after that you just need to make sure that you start with your page command. Okay, so after await you can just write page dot go to. So this is a basic command which will navigate to a URL. Okay, so right now we have not defined any URL. So just go to any dummy website just for demo purpose and paste it. Okay, semicolon is optional, guys. Okay. So once you have navigated to this particular page, right, after that you need to do any kind of assertion or whatever, right now I have shared that, hey, I need to validate the title. Okay, so that's the reason expect is coming into picture. Okay, so again I will write await. Okay, expect. So over here, what should I write? Anybody? If I need to validate the title, so I will put page, because page is something which will get open, and the title of this page is Swag Labs. Okay, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, get by title.
Yeah. So in this thing, guys, whenever we work, right, so this assertions, whatever you see right now on my screen, right, it is showing auto suggestion by the expect import, guys. Please understand this. Okay, as soon as you expect and write the page over here, you just need to write dot, and just if you write two, so here you will have the method which is to have title. What is the title, guys? You can mention that title. Everyone understood this? Okay. Now, if I want to create one more test case, okay, again the process is same, guys. Okay. Now I'll move this variable. I'll move this in some variable over here. Okay. So this is how we create variable in JS, guys. Okay. Sorry, in Playwright outside test. Why? Because I want this to be accessible inside this as well as inside this particular test, because we have total how many tests? Total 2 tests. Okay. So in both the case, we are kind of navigating to the URL, and after that we are validating. In the second case, what we will do, we will validate the URL of the page. So when I say URL of the page, dot to have URL. So guys, can anybody explain me like to have URL? And here, if you notice, we are having some other way of writing it. What does this mean, guys? Anybody has idea about this? Let me hover our mouse on have title, and you guys can see that to have title star slash dot checkout.
That's a regex expression.
Yes, yes. Regex expression. So what does this mean? That's what I'm like. What does this will like? What does this expression means?
Anything which starts with the checkout. Star means anything. If I'm not wrong.
Star means anything. So anything before checkout. I mean,
Oh yeah, sorry.
checkout should be there. Yeah. Before checkout, whatever will be there, right? It will pass my this logic. So now my concern is if I have written to have title, and if I want to have this in the assertion logic, right? Like if you have seen just now. Okay. If I copy this and if I want to have this for Swag Lab, correct? So what should be my expression? I'm repeating what I shared, what I said just now. This is something I got from official doc. Okay. Hover your mouse again, check it out, guys. Dot star checkout. Okay. So if I want to write for Swag Labs, so what would be my expression? That's what my question is.
Sorry,
Anyone?
can you repeat your question?
Dot.
I'll repeat it. So you guys can see that I have opened this page. The title of this page is Swag Labs. Okay. And the URL which you can see is this URL is something which contains sourcedemo.com. Okay. So now my concern is I want to validate what? I want to validate title. Okay. And I want to validate the URL. So I want the answer from you guys. How should I write the regex expression for validating the title by looking at this particular regex expression? I told you the expected answer is Swag Lab, and the URL you are already aware.
Yeah, backslash dot star swag lab.
Okay.
Or maybe we can put just lab.
Yes. So there are multiple logics basically. Either you can put just lab also, or instead of this, you can just put star This is also correct, guys. Okay, this regex is also correct. Whatever before labs, right? Even if it is swag or anything, it will pass, guys. Now over here to have the URL, and you guys know that the URL is this, correct? Which you guys already know over here. So what should I write over here if you don't want to have this? Again, same thing, guys, correct? Slash dot star. And now the concern is when you write this, okay, after that you need to kind of have this value over here, right? So copy this, paste it over here, slash. Okay, so will this work, guys? I mean, just I'm asking you all, will this two test case work? Okay, let's give a try. So just to give you this thing, guys, we have just validated the title, we have just validated the URL. So total 2 test cases. And if you remember in the yesterday's discussion, we have spoken about the projects, guys. We have total 3 browsers, which is present in config.js, which I already have shown you. Okay. Now in the yesterday's discussion, we have spoken about how to run the Playwright test, right? So npx Playwright test. If you are not sure like which file to kind of consider, just copy this file, copy the path and paste it over here. Okay, so automatically it will run only single file which I have created just now. Spelling mistake, just a second. So total you can see that 3 browser, 2 test cases, so 3 twos are 6 like logic. And here if you want, you can kind of go to the report. Okay, and it is running only single file, guys. It is not running both the file. Is it clear, everyone? Any doubt, any query, any questions, anyone, guys?
So
Yeah.
what is to have URL in the when you hover over that, we see some kind of docs, question mark, V shape, slash.
Where over here?
Yeah, when you have this to have URL, when you hover to have URL, we see some kind of
This one you are talking, right?
yeah.
So these are the regex expressions. You see, it's totally on you, guys. Okay, I have showed you this approach. Okay, if I know I'm not comfortable with this approach, right, I can write one more command, await expect page dot to have URL, and I can have this in single quotes, guys. Okay, double quotes, whatever you feel comfortable. That's not this. This is something like what we are doing is we are kind of creating a regex, and this regex will be applied. If I do obviously some mistake over here, my test case will obviously get failed. So through this, what it is saying, star means anything, whatever is present before source demo. So what is present before source demo? www, https, and www. So whatever is present after that, sourcedemo.com should be present mandatory. If there is any spelling mistake over here, my test case will get failed. Okay, and same thing over here also. If you copy this and paste it over here and you want that, no, I don't want to have this approach, you just need to kind of write this logic, guys. Okay, so both approach are same, different ways of doing the same thing, guys. Okay, so I'm running the test case again. So you guys can see WebKit, Firefox, and Chrome, 6 test case got passed. Yeah.
Can we use double quotes also?
Yeah, double quotes, single quotes, both have the same meaning in Playwright.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And one more thing I would like to show, guys. Yesterday I have shown you, but let me repeat it again. I need to trigger this command so that total 6 test cases. Okay. If you see the title, that's what I was showing you. Like validate the title, validate the URL, validate the title, validate the URL. This is something which we have written inside the test area. Okay. After that, you can see that 2 from Chromium, 2 from Firefox, 2 from WebKit. And here you can see the timing as well, like how much time it took for kind of opening the URL and validating all those things, okay, in terms of timing part. Okay, after that, here if you notice, if you go to any of the test case over here, guys, we have before hooks and after hooks. Okay, we are not discussing right now what is before hooks and after hook as of now. This is related to like creating the instance of the page. Okay, once the page instance is created, we will be able to kind of write the code whatever is present or whatever we need to do on that particular page. Okay, so that is something called as before hooks and after hook, and this will be applicable every time whenever we are writing a sync page over here. Okay, so if you are writing this, this will be there for sure. Okay, after
Uh,
that we this commands. Yeah, go ahead please.
yeah. Actually, I have a question on the. Can you show that Visual Studio Code?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so whenever we write automation code, usually we write like test class and the test method. So
Mm-hmm.
what I right? So right now I'm seeing this test as a methods, but how
Mm-hmm.
do we put it under a class?
Yes, yes. So right now I am not going any right now I am not moving to framework, right? So till now, like whatever I am discussing, correct? It is purely like everything will be executed from the test section. Okay.
Okay, so but we can
So
define the class and put all this
yes,
test under that, right?
Cater, whatever you can think of, all these commands, right? They can migrate to some other folders by creating a class and exporting. And obviously, over here, 3, 4 more lines will be added for creations of objects and everything. And after that, we will use those reference object and call the respective functions, variables, whatever we have defined inside those classes.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Yes.
got that part. Okay, the another questions. So let's look into your test class that you have written. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it looked like a JavaScript functions, which is asynchronous function, and
Mm-hmm.
which took parameter as a page, and you perform. So where this page is coming from? Is it a predefined something in
Yeah,
the
that's what.
Java Playwright?
Yeah.
So
So
what
if you
actually it does this page?
So page means what it does, it create the instance for all three engines, let's say WebKit or whichever engines we have. So if you don't use page, that's what I was trying to showcase you. If you don't use this page section, then we need to create the logic through which we need to kind of set the browser is equal to Chromium. Then we need to set browser dot new context. So all these methods, right, which you can see right now, browser type dot launch, browser dot new context, browser context dot new page. This all three functions or the logic which we are skipping right now is
Hmm.
handled with this particular page logic.
Okay,
Okay.
by simply calling it, you are performing three tasks. If I'm
Yes.
not calling it, I have to write a separate logic for it. And in each test class, I have to call that uh,
Yes.
to do
In
that.
each test, wherever you will have, let's say 10 tests, then 10 times you need to write page.
So
So,
whenever you say it's created an instance of a browser,
Mm-hmm.
is it similar to launching a browser or instance
So
is created behind the scene?
in the browser, opening a new tab and navigating to that particular, let's say, browser version, like whatever version is right now installed on my local machine. Okay. So all this will
Opening a
be,
new tab. Okay,
yes,
so let's say if there is a test, like you have simply checked the title or something like that.
yeah, correct.
Sometimes what happen, like we click on any button, it opens a new tab,
Yeah, that
right?
we will
In
handle.
that case, the page will change, right? Because
Yeah,
new
that
tab.
to kind of create one more variable. Okay. Just at high level I'm showing you, let's say child page. Okay, and here we need to give the knowledge through which it will go to that particular page, and at that time I will not use page dot, I will use child page dot, whatever operation I need to do in the new tab.
So basically creating another instance of the page
Correct.
manually.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Another thing, this expect, is it a child library? Expect that I
Expect
am saying?
child library. That's correct. But over
Is
here,
it inbuilt into the Playwright? Because I use a JS project where I inherit this, I mean, import this child library and then use it.
no. In this, it comes by installing the Playwright itself. We don't need to kind of have any other, let's say, installation using npm for child library. For Cypress and for Playwright, expect child library comes pre-built once you install the node modules for them.
Okay. So in this line, await. So obviously, I know why we are awaiting it. Expect
Mm-hmm.
page to have title. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
this page context, we are performing one method to have
Mm-hmm.
title, which gonna fetch the title from the page,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct. Yes.
And is it
This
going to return? But because see, what I'm saying that to have the title and then within that method itself, you are passing the title. So uh,
over here
for so
we
is it
have no
is it
logic.
fetching and then whatever we are passing into this method, matching with that title what it this function has faced and giving us true and false?
This logic, right? This logic to have title is coming under TDD type of assertions basically. So what does it do is it will get the title, okay? And now obviously I have not shown you the negative scenario, and there will be a Boolean comparison, right? Whatever string value I have got, correct? That will be matched with the value which I have passed as a user. Okay, so if both match, then my test case is kind of successfully moved to the next step. Okay, otherwise I'll obviously get stuck at this point. So I'm just moving, like I'm just changing this so that you can just have a look onto the negative. So over here we will get actually 3 failed. Why? Because you guys are having this, right? 3 browsers we will be launching. Okay, so now I am moving out of this. So for moving out of this, you need to press Control C, guys. And again, I'm running this particular test, but this time 3 pass, 3 fail. Okay. So here you can see we got the issue saying that the page title is having and as soon as, right, in case of failure, guys, we don't need to kind of write npx playwright show report. Whenever there is a failure, automatically my control will go to the report and you will be able to see this. Okay, and this particular step has been tried for 5 seconds, guys. Okay, like it was actually checking for 5 seconds whether that particular page has the title, and this value is configurable value, and this value we usually define in the playwright config section, where it will wait for 5 seconds. After that, that's a default time basically. And if you want to update or override that value, we can define that value over here, and so that the time which is written over here, it will get reduced. That's the reason you guys can see that the timing for this is like approximately 6.6 seconds, guys. Okay, 6.6, 7.5, 8.3, because by default playwright will wait for 5 seconds. Even if it is still not matching, it will throw the like failure scenario, failure logic.
Okay. So because later in the course we'll be taught like what are workers, what is fixture, what is context. We'll be
What is
taught, right?
worker, what is code? Yeah, code, everything. Like we will be talking about how fixture are, let's say, all the JSON, CSV, Excel, how we are using it, how we are reading this value from those, right? Right now, obviously, for some of the sessions, like around 5 to 6 sessions, we will obviously do some hard coding. But yeah, later on, we'll move on to some steps where we will be kind of creating some framework or something. Okay.
Yeah, we are totally new to the playwright, so we don't know what is a worker, what is a fixture.
Yeah, what is
So
worker, what is code, what is fixture, how we are dealing with all component, we will be going in detail. Okay, and what are the, like right now also I have not shown you all the command as well, like I have just shown you like around 3 or 4 commands so far, right? Which is And now when I move to CodeGen is having almost like 10 to 12 more commands. So there will be a lot of commands, guys, which we need to understand, which we need to look into detail. So everything will be covered. And whatever I'm writing right now, right, how we can generate via some utility, how let's say what all modification we can do. So all those things we will discuss in detail, guys. Okay.
Thank you.
And why this await is used with every line of code? Could you please
Wait
explain once?
and async both are related to each other actually in Playwright. Okay, if you don't write await, correct, you will see that Playwright is confused, like I need to execute which step first. Okay, so over here, if I don't write await, right, and if I try to run my logic, okay, so here I'm showing you one more scenario, guys. Over here, we have few things in the test area, because in a particular file, you may have 10 tests. Okay. So what you need to do is over here, you can just write test.skip. Okay. So once you write skip, right, now this particular logic will be of no use, like it will not get executed. Okay. Now I am moving to this particular section. I am making this as proper. Okay. Let's say swag lab, and now let me run this file again. Okay, so we have removed this await logic, right? So here, if you notice, we started getting the error. The reason is Playwright is confused, like which command I want to execute. Like it should be a, like we are having asynchronous behavior basically, so it should go line by line, guys. Okay, so that's the reason it will first execute this particular command and then it will execute the next command. So every line wherever we have like logic, right, it is mandatory to use await. Then only like Playwright will have the knowledge, yeah, this line got executed successfully, next is this one, next is this one, like that. Okay, so line by line execution, sequential
Uh,
execution. For that reason, we need await and async both. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Is it
Okay. What? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Then I will
is
ask.
is it like waiting for some time? Like if line number 10 will execute, then after that line number 12 will execute. Like
So
waiting
in JS,
something happening.
yeah, in JS we have the concept of actually promises actually, right? If those promises are not handled, right, we will get those error which I showed you just now in the report part. Okay, that's the
And if
reason.
I want to for suppose line number 12, if I write a code where I want to store my value or like something string in a variable, then also I
That
need to put
no,
await.
no. If you want to, let's say, store const base URL, let's say you are changing it, okay, something like www.google.com, okay, and now uh, you think that you require this. No, it is not required. Whatever action which are related on page, right, on whatever application we are working on, right, over there we will require await. Now, if I want to
Suppose
use,
we want to fetch, suppose we want to fetch the value from a page, and I
then
want to
we
store that value, store that
then we,
value on some
it will be
variable.
something like this const. After that, we will use await.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so we will have this over here, the variable name, sorry, and after that it will be await, and then whatever command you think of. Okay,
Okay.
so like
Okay.
this. Yeah, go ahead. I think there was one more question.
Yeah. So I understand why we are using async await, because to handle the asynchronous programming.
Hmm.
But you mentioned like uh, this playwright have something called the auto wait, right? Yesterday in
Mm,
the class you mentioned.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
basically, let's say if CI the first test case validate the title, so
Mm-hmm,
you get into this base URL and then
mm-hmm.
you're trying to fetch this title. Okay, okay, maybe this is a generic method, so it will fetch it. Let's say from any locator you are trying to pick. Let's
Yes.
say you have given the location of a locator and you are
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get the text out of it or something like that.
Right.
So in that case also we have to provide a wait, or that's gonna auto handle.
No, 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 no. If you are thinking of getting the text from the web page, that's what I think that was the all the command, right, which has the involvement of this page logic, okay, whether it is locator, because locator, how you will identify, you will be identifying on the web page. So it is
Correct.
mandatory that you will use the method called as page.locator. Okay, so in Playwright we have something called as page.locator. So
Yeah,
if you
got
try
it.
to use this command, okay, and if you try to execute, we will obviously get again the error, because coming under async behavior. Okay, so that's the reason we will use again in all the actions, whether it is we will have mandatory over here await. Okay, because Playwright API itself is an async mode actually. Okay, so that's the reason, to handle promise and all the operations whatever is related with JS part, JavaScript part.
Yeah, yeah, that I got it. Like we have to use the wait
And
because
auto
unless
wait,
this
auto
first
wait
line promise is not
we use
resolved, it
await.
yeah.
Okay,
So
auto wait will be helpful only we will use await. Otherwise, auto wait logic is also of no use in our JS config part.
okay, no, but my question was something different. So maybe I will rephrase it. So I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I
but
understand how this async await works clearly. So I know like very first you have executed, you are waiting for the promises to be resolved, don't want to jump into the other lines. So in the
mm-hmm.
similar fashion, you will write await page dot locator, maybe whatever the locator CSS class, or let's say it's some kind of text fill. Maybe I don't know, it has some get text or some method like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
question is, you are waiting for that particular line to execute. Maybe that locator at particular time is not available. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. The page is loading and you just jumped into that. So in that scenario, Playwright waits for that locator to be available and then get the text out of it. Or do
Yes.
we have to handle that scenario using async await?
No, no. You said the first one, right? It will auto wait till the page is getting loaded. Okay, and
So in
that
that
time.
scenario, we don't have to particularly again put the await on top of the locator, then
No,
await,
no, no,
wait for this page to be
no, no.
available, something like
On
that.
that we will not require await command again.
So
Okay,
that is only part handled using the playwright
right.
auto wait. Okay.
Auto wait
Okay. Yeah,
will be
that was my
and
confusion.
we'll use await always.
Because the current project where I use the WDIO, in each of the execution, I have to put await. So it's the chaining of the await commands.
Correct, correct. So through this, what we do is, guys, auto waiting is enabled. Through this, we are handling the promises. I know I have not explained you promises, so I will talk about that when I spoke about JavaScript part. After that, sequential executions. Okay, and if you have multiple promises, right? Let's say multiple exceptions or something. We will be able to resolve this with the help of this await command. Even if I remove this async value over here, right? We obviously will get the issue over here. So async and await both should go hand in hand actually. Please remember this. Okay, perfect. So yeah, one more thing. I just had the discussion like test dot skip will this skip this particular test, and we have something called as test dot only as well, which will execute only this test case. Okay. So if you have 15 test case and you want to debug only single test case, so at that time we will be focusing on test dot only. And if you want to skip out of 10 one test case, you can use test dot skip, and this is purely for debugging purpose, guys. Okay, whenever we are kind of creating the script from scratch. Okay, so perfect. So next I want to discuss is about the commands, guys. Okay, so let me show you some of the commands. Let me clear it again. So till now
And
I have showed you. Go ahead, please.
suppose we have multiple cases, test cases on a page, then
Mhm.
which one would execute first? Is there something like
The
uh,
sequence in which we have written, that's it.
okay,
Okay,
okay.
it will not take keyword or alphabetical or regex. It will be the order in which we have written actually. Okay, so over here, guys, we have a test. Let's say test dot skip and test dot only, and I want that, hey, I want to see the output, let's say browser to be kind of getting open, and let me copy this path again. Okay, So whenever we have such cases, you just need to use hyphen headed, guys. Okay. So once you trigger this, it will be very fast, guys. You might not be able to view that. Okay. So all three browsers will get invoked at the same time. Okay. And this particular operations, that is test dot only, right? Because three test cases are there. So this will get executed. Okay. So npx playwright test, I have given the path of my test case. After that, hyphen headed. So this is responsible for running in the headed mode, guys. Okay. Clear, everyone? So this is for running the headed mode. Okay. Before that, I have just shown you, if you trigger this, it will run all the test case. Okay. After that, if you want to execute specific test case, you can provide that. If you want to because we have multiple keywords also, guys. Okay. So next is, guys, I will execute this test, but now I want to execute in specific, let's say, by the keywords actually. Okay. So what does that keyword basically means? Like the keyword which is present in the command area. Okay. So over here, you just need to go to this section, copy this. Okay. But you need to know this. Okay. So over here, npx playwright test and the name of the test. Okay. But the name should be exactly matching, guys. If it is not matching, it will fail, guys. Okay. So npx playwright test, and this needs to be given with -g and hit this. Okay. So this is a command for running, but the condition is this command, this title should be like available with you. Okay. So this command is responsible for running a specific test case based on the title. Okay. I hope everyone are getting. I know, like, we will obviously not use all the command, and all this command will be moved into the script area, guys, over here. Okay, because we don't need to kind of by heart or something. So from that script area, we can execute as per our requirement. Okay, that I will show you later on. Okay. So the next is like npx playwright test. And now let's say if you are having the known of that particular word which is over here, you know that we have FIS first. Okay. So what it will do is, where is this first? First is in the this particular file. Okay. If I write example, guys, okay, if I write example, it will exactly match. Okay. If there is an example word in this particular section, it will run this example file. Getting my point, everyone? But this is the name of the test case I'm talking. Okay. Not the title or something. Okay. So this is another way of writing or running the same test case. I will obviously share all this list. Okay. And here you need to write name word present in file name. Okay. Any words. Okay. So I think we are good.
If
I'll
same if the same kind of word will appear in 2 to 3 test cases, then how it will work?
all three. It will run all three.
Okay.
If I have first over here, first in one more, so it will pick all like both the file. That's the reason, right? Let's say I started my test case with the name as sanity. So what I can do is npx playwright test sanity. Correct. So all the test case which has the suffix sanity in my regression suite, right, it will get triggered.
Okay.
Perfect. Clear, everyone? Okay, so just at like a quick recap, guys. Today we have just seen like the creations of this particular test, how we have created, what is the importance of test word, expect word, and how we are kind of creating the variables, and in how many ways we create a variable such as where, let, and const. What are the major difference? Okay, and what is the major change in ES6 engines with respect to JS part? I'm talking in terms of variables. After that, we have discussed the commands through which we are executing the respective test case which we have created. And this command, I will obviously format, highlight it by providing some more description, and how we are running the respective test case in the headed mode and the headless mode, guys. Okay, so that's what we have discussed today. Anybody has anything to add, please feel free to unmute and speak up, guys. I think there are a couple of questions over here. I didn't saw that. Just a second. Okay, so I think we are good. Anybody has anything to add? Any questions? Any queries?
Uh, just last question.
Yeah,
That
please.
inbuilt test method of the Playwright, does it only support async await to handle the promises, or I can use any other ways like promise that resolve all, or maybe traditional try catch things? Uh,
Uh, we will be able to handle with promise.all also, but in that case we need to create like a thing, sorry, JSON file, or let's say we'll update our JS file. Okay, so with the help of that we will be able to handle such situation. But it Playwright is not recommending that. If you go through the articles which they have on their blogs, right, it is always requesting to kind of have a sync and await hand in hand for better, like without flaky test scenarios actually.
yeah, makes sense.
Perfect. Yeah, Ravi, go ahead, please.
Hey, because can you also share me the today's and yesterday's recording as well? Because I couldn't be able to manage yesterday, and today also joined little late. I have to go through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
record.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, also, is it possible to share the Git repo that you are writing the code, right? So we can pull that one.
Yes. So mostly by next 1 or 2 days, I'll be publishing it and I'll share the Git URL, guys. On daily basis, we will be obviously uploading our activity on that respective Git.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Yep, perfect. So I think we are good. So everyone, please make sure, like, if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask on WhatsApp group as well. Okay, and feel free to, let's say, discuss any pointers which you want to cover along with this. Okay, so I have highlighted almost like 90 to 95 percentage whatever we will be having in terms of course content, frameworks, and everything. Okay. Okay, so I think we are good. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so tomorrow we will have the session at same time. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.